Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru, and today we're talking about Pell City, Alabama. We're talking about Lake Logan Martin, and we're talking about what we're seeing with the National Flood Insurance Program Risk Rating 2.0. So today we're talking about Risk Rating 2.0 and Lake Logan Martin. What we're particularly talking about is some of the impacts we're starting to see as this new program has just recently started Phase 2. Remember, Phase 1 on October 1st, 2021 was for new business. Phase 2 was any renewals with the National Flood Insurance Program on April 1st or after. So now that we're starting to see the impacts of both of these, we want to come to you today with that information. So we make sure you see that information. You see, a lot of the properties here in the lake, they sit up from the water between the power company and the National Flood Insurance Program or FEMA's guidelines. They do have to sit higher up. But traditionally, without an elevation certificate, these properties have seen a negative impact. For example, we've had a property that was pretty far above the water that had a flood premium of almost $4,000. But in the new Risk Rating 2.0, because of the factors they're looking at, like elevation, replacement cost of the property, distance to water, the type of flooding frequency. Now we've seen some of those premiums go from $4,000 a year down even as low as $1,200 a year. So we are seeing some good things. Today, we particularly want to talk about where we're really seeing a lot of the good impacts premium-wise and a lot of the bad impacts. A lot of the bad impacts that we're seeing are in Flood Zone X so far. You know, before this program, you basically had a standard rate of $400 to $500 with the National Flood Insurance Program. When this went out the window, though, flood zones were no longer used to determine flood insurance rates. So we've seen a lot of increases in these areas where flood insurance was not required before. This was Flood Zone X. Now, the areas we're seeing the biggest impact of premiums coming down in the area are Flood Zone A's or AEs. Now, these are also called Special Flood Hazard Area. These are areas generally where a mortgage is required. So these are some of the areas we're seeing the biggest impacts. So it's really important as your policy comes up for renew that you're working with your insurance agent as you go into 2.0, verifying replacement cost, how many floors. These are all things that can drive rates, especially replacement cost, distance to water. Maybe you're a lot further from the water than they're telling you. Maybe an elevation certificate would benefit you. Well, if you got an elevation certificate down the road after your renewal and you brought it back, it might still be able to help your rate. So it's something important to remember there. You also remember though that these impacts don't impact private flood insurance. So if you wanted to take a look at private flood insurance compared to Risk Rating 2.0, we very do recommend you do that because people do see significant savings because of the way rates are determined with the private flood insurance compared to the National Flood Insurance Program are different. So if you've got questions about all these things and how your property is being impacted on the lake, click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. Remember, we have an educational background flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand flood risk like this right here and your flood insurance. Thank you.